Hi everyone, welcome back to another video. In this video I'm going to be showing you exactly what I would do if I was starting KDP in 2023 with $1,000 to invest. Of course, for some of you watching, $1,000 is going to be a lot of money, and it's going to be a lot more money that you're looking to invest into your business, and that's absolutely fine because you can really start KDP with a lot less money than that and still be successful, and you can even start with no money and still have success. So don't worry about it. The reason I picked $1,000 is because I think for many people this is sort of number that they're going to be comfortable with investing at the start, and I'm excited to show you how far I can actually go in this business. If you are new here, then I have made a free PDF guide that teaches you everything you need to know to get started in KDP in 2023. If you are interested, just press the link in the description. And for those of you who've already downloaded it, I hope it's been helpful and it really gives you that push you need before Q4 starts. And for those of you who have already downloaded, I'm pleased to announce that we're having free one-on-one calls with any members where you can ask me any questions that you think you need to succeed. Literally ask me anything KDP and I'll do the best I can to answer. Now onto the video.
It's always important to plan ahead with KDP, and this is especially important if we're on a budget. So here are the goals with our account with $1,000 to invest. For starters, we want to assign our budget to the most necessary components of KDP so we can make the most of our money and maximize our long-term profits. We really don't want to be wasting any of this money. We want to be putting it all to work. We want to create the foundations for an account that will continue to sell for many years into the future. We really want to think that these books are long-term. They're on Amazon selling forever. We want to create good quality books that will be relevant for many years to come. And finally, we want to think about the next steps after we have some royalties coming in. Where are we going to be investing our money to maximize the amount of profits in the future when we have a little bit more money to play with? Let's start by looking at which types of books are actually best to make when you're on a budget. For me, this is a really easy answer, and that is DIY or do-it-yourself medium content books. I've seen many people recently discrediting medium content books and saying that they're not that profitable anymore and not really worth your time, but in my opinion, that is absolutely not true. My two bestsellers of all time are actually medium content books that I made myself, literally sat on my sofa in like 20 hours, and both of those books are sold over $20,000. And I still have medium content that I'm creating all the time right now, and they continue to perform very, very well. You really don't need to outsource the interiors of your books for them to be successful. Of course, in the future, outsourcing your interiors will fast track your success, but it's absolutely not necessary at the start. Do-it-yourself medium content books are an absolutely fantastic backbone for successful KDP accounts. My medium contents, they're regularly doing $50, $100, $200 every single month, very consistently. And what this means is it opens the door for you to be able to experiment one day when you have a bit more money coming in with some high content books. You can take some risks on some new types of books, but the medium contents, these are the ones in the background really chugging along, getting you solid, consistent income. And of course, as we said, the absolute beauty of these is that nearly everyone will be able to make some kind of medium content without the help of any ghostwriters or any other freelancers like that. The majority of them really are quite easy to make. And trust me, there's still so many profitable medium content niches out there. Now I'm going to show you some types of books that I would avoid making. I'm not saying that these books aren't profitable, and some of you watching this video may be making these books yourselves and have success with that. All I'm saying is that I don't think these books are worth your time right now in KDP. Now, for starters, I'm going to say all low contents aren't worth your time. Now, I would avoid making things like these, like notebooks, planners, or things like simple logbooks. Things with a very simple, basic, or repetitive interior that's very hard to differentiate from other books on the market. I would stay away from those these days. Personally, I'd also stay away from coloring books. I know some people make millions literally selling coloring books, but in my opinion, the coloring book market is very saturated and it's hard to differentiate from the other books. So for that reason, I would prefer to make many other types of medium content books over coloring books. And I would avoid making high content books unless you are a very competent and confident writer yourself. Now, I'm not saying this because high content aren't profitable, because that's not true. High contents are extremely profitable. In fact, they're probably the most profitable of the lot. But hiring a ghostwriter to write the interior for us would be far too expensive given our budget. We'd probably only be able to get one book written for us just about. And even if we are writing these books ourselves, they take a lot of time to write, to edit, to proofread, and to make sure they're ready. So for that reason, I think you can get so many more medium content books out for the time and for the price of this. So I would also not recommend making high contents if you had a $1,000 budget. So now we've decided what type of books that I would make with my $1,000 budget. So now I'm going to show you where I would actually spend my money. Now, the first thing that I'd spend my money on is a Canva subscription. Now, I imagine the majority have heard of Canva, but that is what I use to create all of the interiors of my books. The free version of Canva is absolutely fantastic, but I would recommend getting the subscription. It just gets you way more sort of elements, pictures, different types of fonts, and all that you need for your book to look very professional. I also believe that Canva gives you a free first month to the subscription, although I'm not quite sure about this anymore. But this is an absolutely essential, regardless of your budget, to be honest, in my opinion. The next thing that I'd invest my money on is book covers. So unless you're a graphic designer, which I'm definitely not, then this is the most important part of the book production process to invest your money into right from the start. Unfortunately, the classic saying of don't judge a book by its cover is simply not true when it comes to KDP. People always judge books by their covers, and so often someone won't buy books because it doesn't have a very good cover. If it's not good enough, it's simply not going to sell well, or it's not going to sell as well as it deserves. For my first year of publishing, I made all of the covers myself. I had absolutely no knowledge of graphic design or anything like that. And it's one of my biggest regrets in KDP because I can only imagine how many sales I actually missed out on. And although my book sold fairly well and I did learn along the way, I'm sure I'd have sold so much more if I'd simply just outsourced it to someone who actually knows what they're doing, and it would have saved me a lot of time. So given our budget of $1,000, I would say that I would spend between $30 to $50 per cover at this point. Now, of course, when our budget goes up, I'd say that you do want to spend a little bit more per cover. Now I like to spend more in the region of sort of $100 to $200 per cover to really get a professional looking cover, but you can get very nice covers at the $30 to $50 range. Now, given our budget, I think the best place for us to get our book covers from $30 to $50 will be from Fiverr. Now, I know that Fiverr can get a lot of hate sometimes in like KDP communities and stuff like that, but I think a lot of the time that is unfair. There are a lot of really good products that you can get on Fiverr for really affordable prices that you can't really get anywhere else. One thing that you do have to do on Fiverr that maybe don't have to do so much on the more professional cover sites like 100 Covers or 99 Designs is that you really have to do a lot of research into the person who will be making your cover. Make sure you have a look at their other samples, read all their reviews, and ensure, and this one's important, ensure that they will make revisions to your cover without charging extra at the end, and make sure that you know what number of revisions they'd be willing to make without charging extra. They should all be decided before you start your project.
Of course, sometimes it takes a while to find a good cover designer on Fiverr, and you may have to go through a couple before you find one that is of good enough quality and that you enjoy working with. But when you do find someone that you like to work with, then I'd highly recommend that you carry on making multiple covers with them in the future, and there are many reasons for this. Now, the first off is that you won't need to keep searching for new people, and you're going to be sure that you're going to have a good quality product without having the effort and the time to go around searching for more people. The second reason is that you're going to have a consistent brand, so your covers are going to probably be in a similar style because the same person is making them. And the third reason is that you might actually be able to get a discount with these people. And what I actually like to do, and of course this is sort of personal preference, is that once I've worked with someone a few times and I've built up a bit of a rapport with them, I actually like to work with them away from the site. So that means you don't have to pay them the site fees. So that means that they make a little bit more money and you pay a little bit less money for the cover to be made.
And the final thing that I would spend money on if I had a budget of $1,000 is running advertising campaigns. Fortunately, running advertising campaigns are absolutely vital to our book's success, and it's really important we don't miss this stage. Now, if you've watched my videos before, you'll have heard me say this before as well, but we should run keyword, auto, and product ad campaigns in at least the UK, the US, Canada, and Australia. And when I say at least, of course, we can run them in other countries like Germany, France, and Italy, but these four are by far the most important to run in. And if we're not advertising in any of these countries, then we're missing out on heaps of sales. So many people don't advertise in Canada and Australia, and all you have to do is watch my monthly roundups of how my 0 to 100k challenge is going to see how many sales from that account actually do come from Canada and Australia. Of course, it depends on what type of book it is, but I usually spend about 30 to 35% of my revenue on advertising costs per book. So this means that we're only going to spend a lot of money on advertising if our book is actually performing well. So you think about it, if your book is selling $600 a month, you're probably going to be spending around about $200 to $250 a month on ads on that book. Of course, that sounds like a lot of money, but you have to spend a lot of money when the revenue is so high on that book. On the flip side, if our book is only selling $10 a month, we're probably only going to be spending like $3 to $4 per month on that ads. So it's hard to put an exact number on what we spend on advertising each month. The important thing to know is that you're only going to be spending a lot on your advertising on books that are actually performing well. I would say that a decent number of royalties for a medium content book to be selling on average per month is about $100. So this means that we'd likely spend sort of $30 to $35 on advertising campaigns on each of these books per month. If you've been following along with my challenge on this YouTube channel, you'll know that it's absolutely not the case that all of your books will sell sort of similar amounts. See my challenge, you'll have books that are selling $500, $600, even $1,000 a month. And you have many books that are selling sort of $10, $20, $30 in a month. So this is around about an average of medium content books doing about $100 per month. So on average, they're probably doing $30 to $35 per month on advertising. But of course, this number is going to vary drastically depending on how well the individual book is actually performing. So let's take a look at the total cost that it will be to create and advertise your books. So the one-off costs for each book, which is going to be the cover, was between about $30 to $50. So let's say that it costs you $40 on average to make your covers. It seems like a very fair price. We can get a good quality product, but it really isn't too expensive. Then we have our monthly costs, so we have Canva. Of course, if you get the yearly subscription, it is cheaper. That's $15. And then we're spending approximately $30 per book on advertising every single month.
So now what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be seeing what it would actually look like if you invested $1,000 over 4 months of your business, the way that we have talked about it in this video. Now, the reason I'm picking 4 months is that after 4 months, you'll be getting quite a bit of revenue coming in from the books that you have made. Of course, there is a 2-month lag for you getting paid. So after this period, your business should start to become pretty self-sufficient. Of course, there's money coming in. But for that first 4 months, you are going to be heavily relying on the initial money that you put in, which is, of course, $1,000.
So let's say that you create and upload 2 books per month for 4 months. I think this is quite an achievable amount of books to create. It's quite realistic. So of course, this means that we'd have a total of 8 books on our account. Now the price to get 8 covers made at $40 a cover is going to be $320 approximately. And then we have our Canva cost, which is $15 a month. So that means that the cover and Canva cost at these first 4 months is going to be $380. And then if we've uploaded 2 books per month for 4 months, and our advertising cost on average is $30 per book per month, this means our total advertising cost is going to be $600. You have to remember, of course, that the advertising cost really depends on how well the books are performing. And this is assuming that all of the medium contents are averaging at about $100 per month. So you think by the end of month 4, even though you spent $600 on advertising, you're actually getting $800 a month in revenue because these books will be getting in $100 per month on average. So that really shows how much you can do with your initial investment of $1,000. There's 8 books created with professional looking covers and full advertising campaigns for 4 months for your $1,000. And then after this, you can start to reinvest your royalties back into your account and your business will become self-sufficient.
Thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and it really is amazing to see how far your money can go in KDP when you spend it on the necessities. If you have enjoyed this video, please hit the like and subscribe button. See you in the next one.